Studebaker car. Doesn't really rhyme. Or like the Ford Bronco of cars. Driving down the number 2 highway from Edmonton back to Calgary. The good news is my youngest won the championship tournament. The bad news is it went longer than expected. Got a few guys in here already. Just let me know how the sound is. Hey, big man. Happy Sunday. Hopefully it's not too bad. I am going to be relying on the old cell network. But when I say we're going live, we're freaking going live. Come hell or high water. Because that's how the plumbing world works. Oh, is it a little glitchy? That sucks. Well, I've had a few technical difficulties on the other end of things. Maybe it's my turn to do have the technical difficulties. I wonder what the hang on, I was looking at it's like 4 bars, not quite 5 bars. How is everybody out there today? Yeah, Aaron's not here yet, so let's see how that works.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey man, how are you?
I've had better weekends, to be honest with you. I just spent Saturday and Sunday trying to fix an absolute disaster one of my guys just did.
You gotta love that, eh?
Yeah, the list of deficiencies was so long, the inspector just stopped writing.
What, he wasn't having any of it?
Oh no, and honestly, I don't blame him, because if I'd walked in as an inspector and saw the first thing he saw, I would have turned around. Honestly, I would have said, you need to call a real plumber to fix this, but since it's my company, it's a nightmare.
Ah, well.
But
those things happen, don't they?
Yeah, they happen. They do. They definitely happen. Not very often, but when they get you, they get you.
Yep.
I was just too busy this week. I had a 14-unit condo building I was relining, and I didn't have time to go look at these other jobs and see what was going on. That's my fault.
How is the relining business going? Is that going all right?
It is. It's off the charts. I can't keep up with it, honestly. And there's a ton of companies. I'm not the only guy in town. There's probably 30 companies lining, and we're all busy all the time. Never stop.
Oh, well, that's good though.
It is good. I did just waste probably $50,000 on light ray that I probably shouldn't have. But there's just different technologies for all the lining.
Which one are you using?
What's that?
Which one are you using?
Right.
There's like 4 or 5 brands out there, aren't there?
Yeah, I just started using light ray, which is the UV curing. But I do inversion, and I do pull in place, and I do brush cutting, I do everything. The UV thing is a little finicky. The way it works, there's a lot of technical. It seems really easy, but there's a lot of technical stuff that the average plumber roughly needs a little training. When you're dealing with amperages, if you're doing HVAC, you already know enough electrical work that you can get by, but you're a standard plumber down here in Florida, we don't know anything. talk about amperages on your machine, and we have no idea. Like, I don't know. I play a lot of Scala machines.
So how many of those a week do you do?
I usually do about 3 houses a week, and then if I've got a bigger property, like commercial property, I'll just do one of those in a week. But yeah, I don't stop, and I just enough guys that quit. With a helper on top of that, so it's kind of a pain.
That's the biggest challenge that everybody faces these days, right?
Yeah.
Finding the manpower, finding the guys that can. It's one thing to find a guy; it's another one to find a guy that can actually do what he says he's going to do, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean, I can hire guys all day long, but most of them, a week or two, you find out pretty quick either they can't hang or they don't really know what they said they knew.
Yeah.
If a guy tells me he's got 20 years experience and I hire him and he doesn't have that experience, I can't retrain that guy who's 45 years old. Scratch.
Yeah. The worst experience I ever had, I hired a journeyman, had like 15 years experience, and then asked him to put a hot water tank in. Took him 4 hours.
Oh my God.
Showed up, and it was out of the box. That's as far as he got. He's like, yeah, I don't really do much of this. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. The guy at on the Home Depot corner can do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's rough, but down here is really weird because we're a right-to-work state, so we don't have journeyman cards down here. There's really the only difference between a apprentice and a master down here is you pass the test. That's it. There's no hours or anything you have to do, so it makes it really rough right now to get qualified. We've got a big.
Is that just on the lining side of things?
No, that's plumbing. That's actually all trades down here. Everything's right to work. If you go to the Home Depot and you buy a hammer, you can apply to be a carpenter, and as long as somebody hires you, you're a carpenter.
Yeah. That's crazy, though, right?
Yeah, and most of the trade schools have closed down here, so you can't even get young, fresh guys. The DHCC program is pretty much done. They don't even do it.
Is that because it's not government backed or what?
I think it's a lot of that. I think that a lot of the government backing has dropped off because of lack of interest. So obviously they're not going to keep the school going when nobody's going to the school. When I can remember now, it's been when I took my apprenticeship, I did the 4-year DHCC apprenticeship, and we started with like 60 guys in my class. 25. And by the end of it, only 2 people out of all of those people made it through the 4 years.
How am I doing? Am I dropping up over there?
Yeah, there's a ton of work. There's a need for it. You can't get young guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, I don't want to label every young guy as lazy, but they're hard to find them. They're diamonds in the rough.
Those are so few and far between. It's an overused saying to say that someone's a diamond in the rough, eh?
Yeah, exactly. The worst part is I get tons of applications, but it's usually guys that are in their late 50s, early 60s, and I'm fine with that. How much time do I have?
They're applying for a job when they're in their late 50s?
Oh, yeah, people moving down here all the time, and if they're retired, they just want to get back into the trade sometimes, or they're coming in after time. Say they've got 20 years experience, and they start working, and they don't know how much pitch you need.
What's up?
What is up?
Oh man, having a hell of a time with technology. I got like 3 computers, a phone out. I'm like switching phones. Every time I jump on this thing, it kicks me off. But I got it.
I feel inadequate. My beard's not long enough to be on here.
I know, big man. It's a bit of that battle of the beards.
Yeah.
What we build this thing as.
You know what's cool? We're doing like a progression thing, like start, medium, finished.
Right?
Man. So I did.
That's
I
all
caught
right.
a little bit of what you guys were talking. It sounds like,
Well, we're gonna have to have Stray Dog on. I'll DM you, my man, and we'll set up something legit. How's that sound?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always up for that. I can talk your ear off on lining and weird niche things that nobody else really cares about.
All right. Well, I'll DM you. We'll set it up.
All right.
Thanks,
I'll let
brother.
you guys take it over. I'm gonna go drink a beer because I'm tired.
Go drink some beer. That sounds like a good plan.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right,
care,
buddy.
man.
Thanks, man. All right, big man.
What's up,
How's
buddy?
it going?
Good, man. Good. You just out for a drive there or what?
Yeah, I was. I spent the weekend in Edmonton with my youngest daughter here, and they won more games than I expected. So,
Drag it out, eh?
yeah.
That's
So
all right, man. That's good.
the technology is amazing. I'm flying, doing 120K down the highway, talking to you 3,000 miles away.
Nice.
amazing.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
So the
Like-
first question, big man, is
Yeah.
when's the National Day of Mourning?
The which?
The National Day of Mourning
For?
for the Leafs.
Oh. I mean, it's funny. I don't know if you follow, but we have this this thing on Instagram here called Six Buzz, and it's like all of the Toronto news, right? It's like a young crowd, and they posted yesterday that they put a $100,000 bet on the Leafs winning, and I see
$100,000 bet.
$100,000, and they're like, if we lose this, we might have to sell the page. You're selling it.
Oh, that's bad news, man.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Anyway. Let me know if you can still hear me. I don't want to be holding this thing anymore. You still hear me?
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I caught your rigid thing the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of it.
They looked like they came on like a news team.
That's exactly what I thought.
They're all like, okay, let's go. I'm like, whoa. It's a bit formal for what we got going on here, but we appreciate it, man. Yeah,
that's
Rigid's
cool,
freaking awesome. Have you met any of those? You met Becky and Mike and Jeff?
No, I've not met any of them, but you'll see like in my Instagram, there's a bunch of influencers and stuff that are all cartooned up, and I think a few of them have some strong relationships with the Rigid people, and they're all like, "Oh man, they're the best, they're the greatest. They bring us out, do everything with us." So whatever.
Yeah. No, they got their crap together when it comes to the social media angle. There's no doubt about that.
It's wild how many manufacturers are behind on that.
I agree with you. Like, so many are like, we'll still run a commercial or run a trade show or whatever the hell they do.
Yeah.
And I've literally tried to, I can't think of one off the top of my head where I've tried to tag somebody. I'm like, how do you not even have an account?
You don't
What's
even
wrong
exist.
with you guys?
I know, it's wild, man. Or they'll hire a marketing manager and with this expectation that they'll be on social media and then not even really understand what that means. They hire a marketing manager right at a school or social media, college kid in order to get them at some level of influence. How? It's not, it doesn't work like that. But, here's what it is, man.
I was making fun of when they've done a better job lately, but of Milwaukee, because they literally show up with the we used to call them, it's probably not politically correct anymore, the tub tarts. All showed up and like would you like Texas Grill? I'm like, listen, lady.
You're treading on thin ice there, buddy.
I know.
Oh man, I'll tell you, it's funny because I just ran into the team at Milwaukee at Home Depot. We're the only place we ever see them, and
true.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny. We were talking about social media, and we're talking about running a little event that isn't finalized yet. But I'm hoping the beginning of next month we're going to do something really cool, flying a few influencers in and see what happens. Doing a little Boinger Build event, and in Milwaukee, I was chatting with them about it. And the guy goes, "Oh, can I get your number?" Sure, man. He follows up with me like an hour later. "Oh, our marketing team wants to chat with you about that event that you're gonna have those guys at." So we'll see, man. Maybe they're gonna get a little sharper at it.
Well, you know, and to be fair, that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Where they were, like I say, they bring out the pretty girls, which is fine. But I'm like, it's not a golf tournament, dude. Like, come on.
No, it's amazing, man. But you know what? That's funny though. That's kind of how our industry works. I mean, it always has. You know, you bring the fluffers out, and it's
Use that word, man. That's worse than Tub Tart. Are you kidding me?
Come on, man. You started it. So we look at it, you know, that's our industry though, is that we've got the tarts, the fluffers, but when you have manufacturers kind of getting behind that mentality and they're putting that messaging out there, I don't know, man. I think it's a dangerous thing.
I agree with you. It's most of them are getting away from that completely, which is why, like you say, you see the influencer thing on the social media are actual tradesmen and women, frankly, actually using the tools in the field, right? So yeah.
We need more.
So
I think we need more.
Changing.
Yeah.
Like it's I mean, I remember the day, which I'll probably get in trouble for, going to work with my dad, like when I was like 10. You'd walk into the wholesaler, and the whole behind the counter was the centerfolds of the last 20 years, stapled up on the wall for anybody to see.
Yeah, I know. My mom was one of those.
For the better. Yeah.
We went to this event with Centrotherm. You familiar with them?
I got invited to it, but I didn't. I'm part of the Great Unwashed, and so I can't travel outside the country.
Oh, you haven't been poked. I see.
I've not got the jab. So I talked to Mike and those boys. I'm like, dude, come, we'll pay for everything. I'm like, I wish I could, but I can't. So,
dude, it was awesome. It was a great.
Yeah, I saw you and Georgie were dueling it out there for the King of the Hill, right?
Yeah, he's a cool cat too. Yeah. He's good stuff, man. Yeah, but that event, what most people didn't see, I think you guys seen all the competition stuff, and it was cool to meet a lot of those guys. But one of the coolest things, they had this speaker from Hardy. Are you familiar with Hardy?
Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with them. I didn't know what they did, and in fact, after talking to the guy after the event, I said, "Okay, tell me what Hardy is." And about 10 minutes later, I was like, "Okay, you're gonna tell me what Hardy is?" Because I'm not getting it, man. Summed it up as the country club for distributors.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they are. But interestingly enough, man, his big thing was how we need to be looking at women in the trades, and not like that, but like turning to women in the trades. And I listened to him speak about it for 20 minutes or so, and it really started to resonate, man. And I feel like I'm really late to the table on that. I was like, yeah, inclusion, women in the trades. Yeah, let's all get behind this. What, kick rocks. You can't do it. And I was wrong. You know, I was wrong, and that mentality is wrong, and it's bad programming, and it's perpetuated by a ton of other things that happen in our industry. But we're listening to all of these business owners talk about labor shortages and how there's going to be these huge shortages in qualified tradespeople. And so I'm like, well, wait a second, if we don't turn to women and qualifying women in the trade, like, it's going to be a lot worse if we don't buckle down and focus on that now. And since kind of a shift in my mentality, I've seen and met just incredible women that are really good at the jobs. Like, we were changing a water service the other day, and this girl comes. She's 22 years old, works for the city, jumps in the hole and live taps a water feed, like, just mind blowing. And didn't look like she could bench press me, which is another important element here. I feel like we need to do something to change the culture. Like, you don't have to look like you're an arm wrestler to work in the trades. You know, for lack of a better word, we need to make it sexy without making it sexy. Appealing. We'll use the word appealing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the difference maker that's happening right now, is the fact that the tools are eliminating the fact that you need to be able to bench press 300 pounds to be a plumber.
Right.
You can, I mean, if it was still, you know, pouring lead and cast, I would be out of the trade because I would be broken right now.
Yeah. I
Right?
feel you. Yeah,
and so, because we have all these incredible technology that allows us to do things so much easier and with so much less effort and strain on the body, that provides those opportunities for those ladies to get involved and to have meaningful and durable careers, really, at the end of the day.
I agree. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I see some of the girls that are outworking a lot of the guys that are starting in this industry. And I caught a little of your conversation with the other guy you're chatting with there about, you know, guys going, oh, I can do this and I can do that. You hire them and they're useless. That's another big problem. I think a lot of business owners are facing right now. I seen an ad the other day on LinkedIn for employment. They said, we'll give you a $5,000 signing bonus and a $5,000.
You get the same ad I got from that dude?
Yeah.
What is it? LISI?
Yeah.
Whatever. And I'm not bad mouthing them, but he sent it to me in Calgary. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Desperation, my friend. Desperation from a lot of companies. You know who started that? It was a company, Reliance, really started that signing bonus stuff. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's cool. Guys love tools. We'll take a $10,000 tool signing bonus and $5,000 signing bonus. But you're contracted pretty hard at that point, man.
Yeah. How big is that? Are they huge in Toronto? That Reliance, those guys?
Huge, massive, biggest dogs on the block. Yeah. Why do you want to chat about them? I'm happy to, but I feel like they'd crush me.
No, they just. I mean, they've shown up here in Alberta, and probably the last 5 or 6 years,
and just smashing it out there, aren't they?
Well, they're advertising everywhere, everywhere. And so they're not really my competition, because we deal mostly with commercial stuff. But if you were a residential plumber, like, that's all you did, like new install furnaces and hot water tanks, like, they're on the radio, on the billboards, the hockey games.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, man.
I sat with one of their head sales guys, and he was looking to recruit. And I remember I sat with him in Toronto years ago, and they were looking to recruit me. And he said, "Yeah, Aaron, I just came from blah 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 radio. He said, yeah, I just signed a $1 million deal." I said, "Pardon?" He says, "Yeah, I just signed a $1 million deal this morning." I said, "Oh, is that right?" And I'm thinking to myself, your radio budget is larger than the gross revenue of most of the HVAC businesses that are going to now compete with you. Mm-mm. That's what's scary about finance companies stepping into the HVAC and plumbing industries, is that they have a different mentality, man. They think differently. They don't think of how am I going to pay my bills this month or quarter, or what's my year end going to look like. They think about what is this going to look like in 10 years for us, and can we lose money for 5 years to make incredible profits over the course of 10? And I'll tell you, we're going to have to shift our mentality as contractors if we want to compete with that.
Yeah, it's true. So what's you got an answer?
I do. Let's all become real estate agents.
Slashing tires?
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Tire slashers. Change from the HVAC and plumbing industry to real estate. That's a good one. Bankers.
Right now it is. Real estate's like, it's literally the professional stock market. If you're not a realtor now, everybody thinks you're a moron.
No, of course.
4 years ago, if you were a realtor, you were a moron because the market sucked.
Now you're a genius. Everybody wants to hear you.
Right?
Yeah. The houses here exploded. Like the area that I live in is like the fastest growing area in Ontario, because I'm just outside of Toronto. And the houses in this neighborhood were like $1 million 2 years ago. And now they're like 1.8, 1.9 million.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
How is it like? And have you done anything to your house?
What's that?
Have you done anything to your house? Like, are there there's $1 million worth of improvements going on there?
Just all of them, man. Yeah,
you need to sell and move to Halifax.
Yeah,
buy a castle.
Florida. I'm done with this. I'm done with this snow stuff, bro. See you later. It's funny, all the guys in the U.S. that are, got a little bit of a social media group, and we have some private conversations. I'm always planning stuff, and I said, okay, I need you guys to fly to Toronto. So hands up, who it is that can make it. I'll pay for your flights and stuff, but let's do this. And everyone's like, yeah, I'll go. And they're like, wait a second, hold on. You have to be poked to go to Canada still? I'm like, yeah, I think so. I'm out. Those guys there, man, most of them didn't even go and get it, right? Nah, thank you. You still with us? I'm here.
That's me. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm out of the service area. Back in the service area.
It's good though, man. It's making your face a little bit blurry, and we can't really see your beard and stuff. So mine, to everybody else, just looks majestic in comparison.
Okay, how long you been growing it, big man?
Oh, 2 or 3 months. You?
Shut up.
You know what? I started when COVID hit. I started then, and then I went to see a barber. My wife set it up. She's like, "Oh, I called around. It's the best barber you find." I went in. I said, "Okay, go ahead." And they went, "So cut it all?" And I said, "No. Like shape it, make it look nice." And I sat up and I looked like a poodle. I just like trimmed it right back. It looked off. I was so mad. And then it was like square one again. But who's coming back?
No, it's looking good, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. How long have you had a beard?
I'm on year 3, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I thought that was a lifetime beard there.
No, I was clean shaven, baby face until 2000 and halfway through 2018. So I guess it's been almost 3.5 years, I guess. Almost 4 years.
For work purposes, always clean shaven.
Yeah. I was super when we had back in the day when I ran my company, a bunch of employees that we wanted to be clean shaven. I talked about it with Eric from the Council Hub. No, you have tattoos, you got to cover them up. Blah blah blah.
That's funny, man. That's
When
funny.
I fired everybody, I sort of changed my tune. I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want.
Amazing, man. So very similar story, man. The stuff that you're talking about is Airtime 500 training. They were the ones that really set the pace for, clean shaven, cover your tattoos, white button-up shirts and branding.
Yeah.
It was a consulting company from the U.S. called Airtime 500, and you'd spend like $60,000 to be a member every year. So that was crazy. My family was Airtime 500, and that's where I learned a lot of that. And I carried it with me through a lot of businesses that I worked for. And then when I started AccuServe Heating, I implemented a lot of that, white button-up shirt and clean shaven, and I really believed it, man. I drank the Kool-Aid, and this is my rebellion beard. No, I'm not doing it anymore.
That's really, and it's actually, like you say, the world's changed a little bit because I was with you. I took that, I forget what it's called now. It's that one out of Arizona. It's the same thing as your Airtime 500. It's like, I forget the name of it now. But they do the big conferences. You go down and everybody gets pumped up and big rally.
You can do it. You're gonna be rich.
Yeah. But I won't lie to you. I do think the beard has actually helped my marketing.
I think so. It has.
You know what I mean?
It has. For you, it has. Yeah, man. I see your stuff on LinkedIn, and the beard catches you at first, and then you're a plumber. You're a blue-collar trades guy, and you look the part.
Yeah. No, they're like, well, you must be legit by the way you look. And I'm like, yeah, I can tell. Yeah. Sure.
You must be a great plumber because you have a beard. Mm-hmm.
I am a great plumber, with or without the beard. So tell us.
Cutting out there, big fella. Wonder. I don't think we have.
There we go.
There it is, man. It's awkward. When your screen starts to go fuzzy, I'm just like do with my hands.
That's right. Do I move? Do I touch? Do I smack the? Yeah. Do I smack the antenna? So tell us about you, Aaron. What's your deal, man? Now, your wife's on here. I saw her. I even waved at her, so you have to be on your good best behavior.
Oh,
I always think
my wife's on here right now.
is that Mrs. Bond?
Yeah,
Or Bond, Mrs.? Yeah.
Yeah, she's supposed to be cleaning right now, so I don't know what she's doing here.
That's gonna cost.
Yeah, that's gonna cost. I know. Whatever, it was worth it.
Worth it.
It's not worth it. So I do primarily HVAC. A lot more plumbing now, but my like passion is hydronics. I love doing boilers, man. It's my thing. I think I got tired of doing furnaces and air conditioners and running gas pipe, and just did it forever. I'm a third generation tech, so I grew up doing this for my uncles and grandfather, and spent a lot of time on the tools. Spent a lot of time not wanting to do this, actually. And then I think somewhere along the line, just kind of came to terms with the fact that I suck at everything else. And so, you're dicey. I wonder if I freeze when you freeze.
There we go. Okay, I'm through the worst part, I think. Should be all right.
You're not. Don't jinx us here.
I'm just going to say that so everybody feels better about it.
We're almost at the end, guys.
And it's funny that you say that because I remember graduating high school, and I worked for my dad forever. And I told him I would never touch another wrench when I left because I got accepted to university. I said, I'm done with this business. Out.
Cue the beard.
Yeah. Three years later, I'm back begging him for a job. Dude, please, I'm sorry. I was mistaken.
Yeah, man, it's it's good business. Plumbing, HVAC, amazing business, man. Good thing to fall back. And I say to my wife, I say, I want my son to have the foundation of the trade. I want him to know how to do it, but I want him to go to school and do something else. And just kind of use this as a backup, maybe. I don't know, man.
You're in trouble then, because that's how I started with both my boys. I'm like, listen, if you don't know what you're going to do in school, then you're going to come work for me until you figure it out. And now they both love it, which is good for me, because then I got my exit plan.
Let me ask you something, though. Let me ask you, did you pay them minimum wage? Did you pay them? Tell the truth.
Of course I paid them minimum wage. They're my kids.
Like room and board kind of trade-off for minimum wage, or like you paid them?
Oh, no. So they didn't have any when they were at home, they had no expenses, right? Like I didn't make them pay for rent or anything like that. But they started off at 15 and then, as you know, in Canada, like we went by the 60, 70, 80, and 100% of what the hourly rate was supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. So they're paid a couple of bucks above what the government tells me I'm supposed to pay them.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's based on the union stuff, right? So
union.
Yeah, the government bases those hourly rates, like what you're supposed to pay your apprentices, off what the union pays theirs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like to base my pay off of McDonald's rates.
So what do you pay?
You laugh, man, but they're pretty high. A lot. McDonald's is expensive, man. You're gonna hit that Patchy's I thought, are you there? Are you there? Are you back?
Oh, you're doing. Stop moving around, Aaron. You're freaking everything out.
Yeah, dude. I was lonely there for a minute. Yeah.
That's the problem with live TV. Is you just never know what's going to happen. And
Anything.
if my daughter sucked at basketball, then I would have been home like 4 hours ago. So that's what happens.
Blame her, man. Just blame her.
As you know, you gotta do the family thing first. That's just how that goes down.
You sure do, man. I did Canada's Wonderland today with my kids. It was good.
Oh, good. So how many? So do you run your own show?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
How many employees have you got?
I kind of run my own show. You're married, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. I'm the boss. Kind of. Yeah. We lost you again.
I'm back again. Am I back? Oh, that guy passed us like 3 times.
I think
Somebody just got pulled over by cops.
not the guy talking on his phone.
No. It's all wireless, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm still there. I can see you. Can you see me?
You're here. No, I see you, man. Little blurry. You're good. Another minute or so. Yeah, I went through another wave of I don't want to do this business anymore. Built AccuServe, a business up to have quite a few guys, a lot of trucks, a lot of guys, and then had some of those shiesty stories. I thought, you know what? I followed a lot of that Airtime 500 stuff. I did what was right. We did great installs. I set up a lot of process and procedure. We had our systems locked down, and I said, man, we're killing it. We're growing so fast, and we're doing it right, and we've got a great foundation. And then I had some guys working for me, seasoned guys, like refrigeration mechanic that had 35 years experience, commercial refrigeration mechanic. And he goes and puts a rooftop unit on a Buddhist temple downtown Toronto for me and doesn't hook up the P-traps and turns them on. And these 25-ton rooftop units stuff a whole load of water down the ductwork into their library of irreplaceable book statues. Yeah.
So you cut out there, or I cut out there. So you're working on a Buddhist temple, 25-ton units. What happened?
I got to tell you, man, you froze perfectly that time. It was like you were really interested in what I was saying.
If you see that, you know I'm frozen because I'm never that interested.
Yeah, we put these rooftops on. The installer didn't put the P-traps on it, like super seasoned guy, and it flooded this Buddhist temple ductwork into a library of like irreplaceable books and statues. Yeah, that was expensive. I had a technician that when we sent him to fix a rooftop unit, they had no heat. He just shows up. Oh, the disconnect's off. Flips it back on and leaves. Doesn't check anything. It's putting carbon monoxide into a friggin' daycare.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, man. So I kind of hit a wall. My wife was pregnant. I had another baby on the way. I'm like commuting to Toronto every day. I was just miserable. I'm like cleaning up all these messes. I was like, you know what? Something's got to give, man. I need a different life here. And I would think I ended up turning to the wrong place. I went to this leadership training. One of my guys recommended, my old boss at this company went to this leadership training thing, and it's in Vegas. And I was like, oh, you're in Vegas? Oh, all right. Yeah, I do leadership training in Vegas. What's up?
Sure.
And it wasn't the good Vegas that we all think about. It was like, I think I'm under contract not to talk about this.
Seriously?
I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, like they make you sign some stuff. You can't badmouth them. You can't and I never have spoken about it publicly. So here, let's showcase it because I don't give up.
Let's do it. Just so you know, we signed the same agreement, didn't we, Aaron? Like, you can't say anything bad about me, or I'll sue you.
No. You sent that to me, and I just scribbled on it. That wasn't my signature.
Oh.
Check your shit. Yeah. So I jump on a plane, paid a friggin' ton of money, like thousands and thousands of dollars for this thing. And I jump on a plane and I fly to Vegas and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Somebody sends me with a backpack. And it's a pink backpack with like girly stuff on it, and then you get there and it has all of these cards inside of it. Just like you open up a card and it's like these progressive thresholds that you hit throughout this journey over 3 days. And I'm like, oh, this will be interesting. Cool. I'm fully expecting, because it's in Vegas, then I'm going to get there, this backpack's going to open, and it's going to be like, oh, stripper Graham, nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a party. It wasn't a party at all. It was get on a bus, hour and 45 minutes into the desert, to this compound. You can't see anything for miles all around it. You go to this compound, feels like a cult. Well, because it is. They put you in these rooms with other dudes on bunk beds, and then these women come in the morning at like 5:30. You know those women I was talking about, the bench pressers, buzz cuts.
Yeah.
Those two. They came in, yell at you, get up, time for breakfast. And you're like, oh, is that what this is going to be? Great, because nobody tells you until you're there. It's too late. And I was asking. They're just like, don't ask. It'll be good for you. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I watched people just get ripped apart from morning till night for a couple of days, and then I was like, I can't take this anymore. If this is what being a leader is, this is what having a big corporate business is, I don't even want this. And so I stood up in front of like 50 people, and I was like, I've talked to a lot of you. You guys all work for people, and if your employers want you to go through this, you might want to reconsider who you work for. And the whole time I'm talking, they're like, sit down. I'm like, shut up.
Really?
Yeah. And then I got escorted out by the biggest human being. Like, he didn't even look human. No neck, bald head, tattoos. He just comes over to me and he's like, time to go. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Where do you want me to go?
Show me the door. I'm out of here.
Dude, brings me to my room, makes me pack up my stuff, and then brings me to the front door of the building. Past the receptionist, opens the door and goes, bye. And I'm like, okay. Is that my car? My phone's not charged because they had barking at me till like midnight the night before, and then woke me up at 5 a.m. I didn't even have a charged phone. I luckily had an iPad with a SIM card, and I walk up on this hill and managed to get a hold of my wife. 6 hours. 6 hours I spent in the desert trying to get a car. 2 different taxis canceled on me, cost me $650 American to get this guy in a minivan with different colored doors to pick me up. And as I'm driving away, I'm like, wow, I'm sleep deprived, and I'm an idiot because I'm in near Vegas. For $650 American, I could have spent another couple $100 and gone out in a helicopter. Just go dip down, grab me. I could leave the compound like, yeah, what's up? But instead, I was the guy that left in the minivan with miscolored doors and almost slept in the desert. Anyway, so my plane ride back, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And so I came back.
No kidding, that's horrible. I've never heard of anything like that.
It was fun.
That's like shock horror treatment to make you a better business leader. That was the plan.
Yeah, to make you a leader. And I think the process behind it is, and I was like, I hope that's not what they're doing. But then I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what the hell you guys are doing. The idea is you break people down, take them out of their comfort zones, and you break them down to, you know, make them perform outside of their comfort zone. And I get it, and develop these relationships, and it's like it's just a mind fuck somebody. And I was just like, I think that there's better ways to build teams and to lead other people, you know, to connect with people and find out what really motivates them, to find out what they need as affirmation to do better. You know, and it's a big part of being a business owner is finding ways to incentivize guys past money. You know, money doesn't work, man. We know
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
No.
Money's not a motivator. It's a great thank you at the end of the day. But if you want to find real motivators for guys, I went down that path. Oh, let's give them more money. Let's give them a raise. Come on, man. Money, we just find another way to spend it.
Yeah. Well, look at professional athletes, right? Those guys make like millions and millions. Are like, yeah, I'm out of here. This place sucks. Like, dude, we just paid you $8 million last year. Yeah. We're out.
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, so I mean, that's been a big thing. And I told you one of the things I wanted to talk about was, you know, kind of labor issues. But it's funny, we organically started talking about that guy with that LinkedIn ad where it's like, oh, we'll give you $5,000 signing bonus. And I mean, how many guys are companies, decent companies, going to lose to those dog and pony tricks? Guys are going to get disgruntled and they're going to go, shit, they're going to turn to their wives. You know, I get $10,000 in tools right now if I just go over here, and these guys are going to give me a $5,000 signing bonus. We can catch up on our bills. You know, whatever it is. Those tactics, though, are going to make it even more scarce to be able to find guys in this industry. And so and then the big dogs, you know, the Reliances and the Enercares and those big companies, they've got recruiting strategies that are mind-boggling, and they've got entire teams looking to you know, poach good employees. So I mean, if the idea is, you know, part of our strategy to bring employees in or grow a business is that we got to bring them in and train them, well, I think we need to be working on really effective strategy to be able to retain them once we train them. And so, you know, for small businesses, what are some cool employee retention tools that people are using? That's really what I'm looking for right now is, you know, what are other people using as employee retention tools?
Man, you're asking the wrong guy. We did. What's that? My back?
You cut out. You just said, all you said was you, and then I'm just gonna assume that it was something really nice and flattering that you put in there. And I'm like, yeah.
What I did say is you asked the wrong guy.
Oh.
We tried. When I had 18 guys at one time, including office staff, and I gave everybody a gym membership to use as often as they wanted. If it was your birthday, we paid for your birthday.
Nice.
Don't come into work. Just full pay. Have a great day. We did. If you went on call, I paid you a minimum of 3 hours, no matter what, and paid you $150 for the weekend that you worked. Even if you didn't get a call, I would pay you $150 just to cancel your plans for the weekend. We tried everything I could, and it was, for the most part, it was a merry-go-round still.
Do you know what? When I hear you say that, and I talk to a lot of business owners about this because I'm like super like, I want to find the answers, and the only place to find them is just by picking brains of guys like you that, you know, if you've been there, man, you've been there for a long time, your boots on the ground, you've tried different solutions. And when I hear those, I'm like, all of those things are monetary. Like, oh, I give you a bonus of this, right. I give you this, I give you that, I give you that. Because it's like, okay, well, if we really pick it apart though, We go, well, what drives people? Is it money? If we set money aside and we say, try and come up with something that is not money driven. I'll give you an example. It's like one small thing that I used in the past that worked really well was this software called Review Buzz. And what it was designed for is to get reviews for your company. But what I liked about it was this little section that they had that allowed you to create profiles for your individual employees. So I brought in a professional photographer and we did like photos of each one of the guys. And then we built these portfolios for them. And so instead of my company getting reviews, it was my clients giving reviews to my employees. But my company also got a review, but it tagged them into it. And so what it did is it started to give them a status. They got points for their review, and their points I turned into monetary value. But what I did is I set up a store where newer technicians on the lower point levels could trade that in for tools. So they could buy tools. But if you hit rock star status with my company, and it was like X amount of reviews, which everybody is obtainable, I'd pay for your vacation for you and your wife. But it wasn't those things that people were really driven by. It was this sense of affirmation from everybody else that, hey, I'm doing a great job, I'm recognized, that I seen took a lot of traction, and that guys didn't want to leave the company in part because they developed a reputation at that business.
I see that.
I feel like
did it work? Did it work?
It did. I would say, was it 100% effective? No. I mean, it was a piece of a pie that needs to be solved. It was a piece of an equation, and I think that if we can find more of those things, that's going to help protect the smaller contractors in the future. If we, as business owners, if we don't develop those skills, we're just going to get eaten alive. I mean, look, we were talking about Reliance. I don't even think that most business owners can even fathom how much market share that company has taken in every market that it goes to. I mean, a few years ago, they were sold for like $4.something billion. Yeah. These companies are highly focused on rental and finance money. I don't know if they do they do rental out where you are now?
They have it's just been a new introduction in the last year, I would say, where they're like, don't pay for 5 years. And to me, I'm like, how in the hell do you do that? You put in a new furnace and a hot water tank and say, your first $10 comes out next year. Have a nice day.
Yeah. See you later. Yeah. And they love it. Because that's long-term strategy. They know how profitable that is. Once you're locked onto that rental program, they have the stats on how many people just continue paying for it for infinity. They just pay and pay and pay.
It's MasterCard, right? You max out your card, you pay your $200 a month on your $6,000 balance or whatever it is, and MasterCard just
Thank you.
eats it up.
They love it, man. Yeah, they love it. Look at my big fear 10 years ago when I started to see all these big finance companies start to buy into our industry. When I started to see Reliance really start to make an impact, I was like, oof, I'm watching that company buy large heating and air conditioning businesses, and I'm just like, they're going to make some big moves. And sure enough, they did. I mean, we're talking a radio budget just in the GTA was $1 million. I mean, those are some deep pockets. How do you compete with that? But what they really did is they created a model that works, that's profitable, that all of these hedge funds started getting together and going, hey, this home service industry stuff is friggin' lucrative. Let's jump in. Let's buy up some heating companies. And so you see these conglomerates of 6 or 7 once upon a time small town heating companies that are now run by this umbrella. And they have killer processes and procedures. They have incredible buying power, and they have astonishing marketing teams. And so I'm saying we are very rapidly losing our mom and pop shops and our small businesses to finance companies.
I don't I don't disagree with you.
Mm.
And like you said, I don't even know. Like, I obviously don't have a really good answer to that, other than, you know, and probably like you, we don't do a whole lot of residential. Most of ours is, like I've said before, sort of the commercial angle. So we deal. I don't know who we have out there. We fight. Our territory fights are with Ainsworth. You have Ainsworth out there,
Yeah, yeah.
and a couple other of those type of guys where they're like sort of the same model, but they're like their attractiveness is you can call us for anything, and it's one number and one bill. You know what I mean? We'll look after it all, and we have fought those guys off for probably a decade and defended our territory. Frankly, mostly based on my personality and my relationship with our vendors, right? Like our clients. They want Bob to show up and fix their stuff, not some random numbered dude that they don't know or have a relationship with, right?
So you don't get into much tender stuff. You're mostly relationship based.
Yeah. I won't lie to you, I haven't signed a contract in probably 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
It's all, which is both, you know, it makes me feel good, but it's a bit trepidatious because, I mean, they could phone you tomorrow and say, yeah, we're up, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We've signed with Ainsworth, or we've signed with, what's another one that's out here? I can't think of it on the top of my head, but there's only, it's like Reliance. There's only one or two that are sort of nationwide.
Right.
That provide those type of services. So,
well, I mean, Enercare does
oh yeah,
large commercial stuff.
Yeah.
I think all those businesses will step in when the time comes. I mean, you asked a few years ago, Reliance, they don't do plumbing. It's a home service business. Of course, they're going to jump in and do plumbing now, and then they are going to move into commercial, and they do the same thing. They'll do the same thing. And that's the thing, man. I love the relationship-based business model. And I think that's kind of where I am, is I say, I obviously don't have the pedigree that you have. You've got quite the history, and I mean, guys go up against you. I see guys try and get into it with you on like LinkedIn and stuff. Interesting.
Everybody's got a beef about something. But I mean, I won't lie to you. It's when we talk about it with my boys, like this relationship thing is the card that we have.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
I mean, because oranges are oranges. Plumbing is plumbing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Cleaning a toilet is anybody can do it. Any plumber can do it. Any HVAC guy can install air conditioning. So why are they calling us? It's because they want to talk to the Baker boys. Did I just lose you? Uh-oh. I did not do anything. Might have kicked you out because we're... Anyway, come back, Eric, if I kicked you out. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Yeah, somebody's just saying here. I honestly, I haven't signed a contract in 5 or 6 years now, and probably won't ever. And like I was saying with the boys, I do remember growing up as a kid. It was when I would show up at a job, it would be, where's Jerry? Why are you here? I'm just going to invite Aaron back. Oh, if I can. There he is. The problem with contracts, like you say there, big man, is you gotta have a lawyer to back those up. Oh, he's back.
What's up,
I don't
buddy?
know what happened there. Sorry, man.
I thought I got cut.
There's a time limit, man. They're like, it's out. Out, man.
I missed what you were saying. Sorry, buddy.
Anyway, I'll just finish my thought. The only time that I've ever gone to court, and I've gone to court a fair bit, is when there's a contract involved.
Really?
It's the only time where, you look at Section 2, Subclause 6, itemized A dash double ones. I'm like, no, that means this. And they're like, no, this means that. So I'm like, well, I'm not doing what you think I should because it doesn't mean that. And then you get the lawyers involved, and $60,000 later, it's the lawyers get paid, nobody else does.
Yeah, I've never gone to court for anything related to HVAC or plumbing. Never had to take somebody to court.
Really?
I used to have a collection. Well, I used to have a collection agency that worked pretty hard for us, but they stick it to you. You feel like you might as well have given it to the lawyers because they're like, oh, well, 20% after this amount of time and 30% after this amount of time. I'm like, so wait, the longer you stretch this out, the more money you make? Come on now, collect my money. Yeah, but I think contracts for me, as much as I'd love to just ride without them, I feel like what it does, and just the way I do my proposals, it's like an expectation setting thing where I make them sign off on like a whole whack load of terms and conditions. Like, you're going to provide me parking, initial here, you're going to do this, initial there. You're going to agree to my payment terms and my project management schedule and so on and so forth. And they just have to digitally like initial each little thing. So it's like this sense of accountability. It's kind of, some people
do you find that gives you, I don't know how else to say this, gives you validity in a market like Toronto? Like, because Toronto and Calgary are not, like, we consider ourselves a big city, but we're not. Like, we're just not. You know what I mean? And so...
I'd love to be out there, man.
Come on out.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Sell that 2 million pad of yours and come out here.
Yeah, well...
So do you think is that part of your reasoning behind it? To be like, listen, we're legit. Here's all my digital paperwork. Do you think that gives you sort of that look?
Well, no, I think, okay, if what you're asking is, does my sales presentation and process separate and differentiate me from the most of the guys out there? Yes. Yeah, it does, 1,000%. Listen, I did a contract for a guy. We're building a house. 18,000 square foot monster, 2 hours and 45 minutes away from my house. So my wife is not thrilled about it. We were there all winter, just on and off. Anyway, the contractor that's building this massive place, he does 120 million a year in business in Toronto. He's a big boy, big boy, a lot of work. And we sent him our proposal, and we're little, man, we're nobody, like we're nothing. But I take my time to make sure that my proposals are very thorough and they have embedded video and that they have photos and they're detailed and stuff. Yeah, so I use actual proposal software, and using proposal software definitely gives me the competitive edge. The guy comes back to us and says, that's the best proposal ever. He goes, I have teams of guys that bid jobs all day. He goes, and we take bids from guys. He goes, I own 13 companies. He goes, I've never seen anything like that. That is an incredible proposal. And then he went on for months to complain that our price was too high. But isn't that always the case, right?
It doesn't matter what your price is. It's always too high. Like it's just a business, right?
Yeah. So my advice to people that are encountering that often, I get that. Oh, how do you make more money? Just price it so you think it's really high. So when they tell you it's really high, go, oh, you know what? You're right. That is really high. Now we can do something about it.
It is true. Yeah. I learned from a couple of contractors that I used to work for that have since retired. They would reject the first one no matter what it was. Like, they would just be like, whatever your number was, they're like, no, it's too high.
Too high.
No matter what. I'm like, you can't even dicks. Like, they wouldn't even look at it.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Like, it was back in the day when everybody faxed stuff, right? So you'd
Yeah.
fax your quote through, and he would write back in big letters, too high, send it back.
Wow.
And the guy would be like, okay, let me work on it. Get 15% cheaper. Be like, okay, cool. Wow, it's still a bit high. We'll find some place to cut some stuff, but let's go for it, type of thing.
Do you know what? Some guys just like the game, the negotiation, that's too high. I don't even think they even know what the job's going to cost a lot of the time, right?
Most of them don't, right? They're like, well, our budget is, well, like if you're doing an 18,000 square foot house, my budget's $5.5 million to build this whole thing. Send out the bids and see what it comes back at, right?
Right.
Whatever he's earmarked as for cash to build that place. If it comes under that, then he's happy with that.
Yeah, he's sliding in around 15.
It's gonna be 15 million.
Yeah, but he's like cladded with 5-inch granite stone as a thing. The guy's like, it's so next level. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
We did it. It's been a long time since we did anything that big. We did some work for a family that had a 32,000 square foot house. All wool carpets. Like, they were super old school. Everything was oak interior. It was insane. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
The amount of money that is out there is. I've learned over my career, there are people that are rich, people that are well off, and there's people that are wealthy, and those differences are vast.
Vast, bro. Vast. Yeah, it is. It is big time. That's probably one of the things that I talk about with guys on DMs most, because guys are constantly like, oh, where do you find the clients that'll pay for that? All the time, and boiler work and I hit them with the same thing. We always want to spend more money on marketing, and we want to spend more money on buying the tools and the trucks and the training and going to the seminars. But we never want to take time to work on the one area that is the lowest hanging fruit and right in front of our face, which is the proposals that we do. 100%. Like, I heard a stat years ago when I started doing HVAC sales, like years ago. Somebody said to me in this training thing, the average plumbing and HVAC contractor closes 33% of their jobs. 33% is the average closing ratio, and the average homeowner is getting 3 estimates. And I went, hold on, wait a second. Hold on. That's pretty good numbers to say that we're all exactly the same and nobody's really doing anything different.
Yeah.
And it's that mentality that's got me consistently obsessed with picking apart the processes that we use to close the jobs. And I think that in today's landscape, where people don't want that, hey, slick Rick crap, here to sign on the dotted line. Yes, I got them to buy a new whatever the hell. That stuff doesn't fly. And so in today's landscape, homeowners, you put yourself in their shoes, right? Or a business owner, a contractor, or a building manager. People want to make decisions at their own leisure. If they have information, they want to be able to sit down in front of their computer or their phone and find that information. And they want to make that decision to buy on their own time. And so I said, well, we just need really effective material to be able to convey our elevator pitch. Why use us? Why are we great? And then give them not only all of the information that they need packaged nicely, but then give them options. People always say, oh, give them good, better, best stuff. No, but really give them options, like a menu that they can just click through what they want in their own accord, or they'll go and find it from somebody else.
Or they'll Google it.
Google it.
Right? I mean, they're going to do it anyway.
No, 100%, man. I did a quote not too long ago for a client, and I did the proposal and came back to him, and he went, "Are you out of your mind?" And I went, "What?" He said, "You're $90,000." He goes, and the other 2 bids that I have are 27 and 33. And I said, yeah, I would be very nervous of 27 and 33. I'm sure you'll get exactly what they say they're going to give you. But I would do a little bit more research. And sure enough, and it's those conversations. So when I hear guys going, oh, where do you find those clients? I'm like, I don't have magic clients. Maybe they're the same clients you have. I just approach them differently. Yeah. So that's why I'm interested in the relationship-based selling that you do. And you're not the only guy recently to tell me, oh, I don't even really have a contract. People just call me and I just do the work and then send them a bill. That business model is like appealing to me. I want to know what makes that tick. Are you like out shaking hands with guys?
And so you said it 15 minutes ago. I mean, I have long-standing relationships with people that I've worked for 25 years now, right? Where
nice.
I walk into their restaurant or their hotel or their community center, arena, whatever the case it is, and say, I want to be your plumber. And 25 years later, I'm still their plumber. You know what I mean?
Nice.
But we are in those facilities, whether we're called to be there or not, every week. So I drive around to those and make a stop and just, how are things? What's going on? Everything cool? Oh, and we have those, basically the conversation we're having right now with my clientele about whatever the hell's going on in the world. So there's lots to talk about at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's literally you're building and maintaining those relationships so that they know that you're not just a paycheck, but you're friends at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And part of your, business circle, I guess. I don't know how else to say that. But you must have, in your own world, those type of clients that just phone you out of the blue and say, we want Aaron.
Yeah. We've got our
stuff. Right?
We've got our buddies, we call them, That's it. I mean, the clients that become friends. And I mean, right now, my business is relatively new. I mean, we're less than a year old, because I just didn't want to do this for. I tell you, man, when I sold AccuServe, I think like 2018 or mid 18, I was going to go and do manufacturer sales. I was like, yeah, that'd be good for me, man. I like going around and flying, right, drinking beers.
After your cult experience.
Yeah. I was like, nah, I don't want to be the boss. I'll be a minion. Set it up. Let's go. And I thought, sales would be a good thing for me. Just kind of manufacturers, just focus on that part, in and out. And man, it's hard. We talk to the salespeople from the other side all day. I mean, I'm sure you do. Your distributors, your manufacturer reps, and they love you, and they love me, and they're my best buddies. And then when you're not running a business anymore, and you're on the other side of the fence, sitting behind a desk, hey, I want that interview. Those relationships change real quick, man.
I don't doubt it.
They change real quick. I went to 50 interviews. 50. Yeah.
And nobody hired you.
No. As it turns out, I have a really bad personality. No, you know what it is? That whole industry, our industry on that side, on the sales side, is very old school, man. Like, just is very old school. It's a pat on the back and a handshake, good old boys club. And I had no interest in being in that. I also wanted a national role. So I wanted, hey, take me and put me at the top out of nowhere, because I don't want to be a minion, actually. And that was a tall ask and I knew that. I have a grade 8 education. It's hard to sit in an interview and tell somebody, hey, I have the school of hard knocks and have done exceptionally well in business and understand this industry very well. It's because they don't value that. Most manufacturers,
they don't recognize it, right?
they don't even carry value. In fact, I've sat in interviews where like the first thing that was said was, okay, Aaron, tell us what you bring to the table other than your technical experience, because that doesn't mean anything to us. Literally had that said to me. I was like, oh, yeah, no, I know.
Which is super strange to be in a sales role and not care about. Well, you may have seen it. We've talked to the NTI guy out here, and
yeah.
a couple other ones, and I love Travis because he's technical. Like, I don't want you to sell me something. I already bought it. So
Right.
I'm 3 levels deep into the code of this thing, and I don't know if I'm pressing the right arrow or the left arrow. Tell me what the hell I'm doing.
For sure. And you know what? There's nothing worse. You start asking a sales rep, you're supposed to peddle this product, who's supposed to sway me from one product to another, and you say, oh, great, what's its turn down ratio? And they go,
Yeah.
oh, well, I'll reach out to the tech department, find that out for you. I'm like, that's some pretty basic
I'll circle
stuff.
back on you on that one, right?
Yeah. Hey.
That's where the fluffers come in, which is what we're trying to get rid of. But and to be fair, I do get a kick out of it because lots of them are used car salesmen. They're like, look at this thing. What's that meme where they slap the car and they're like, dude, you'll get like 60 miles to the gallon out of this thing. How long do the tires last? Oh,
Yeah.
don't worry about that. You don't need to worry about the tires.
Yeah.
Tires are fine.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely some characters in the sales side and the manufacturer rep side, but there's some good guys, man. There's some solid guys out there.
Solid people. It's like anything.
Yeah.
There are morons. I mean, and I'll say this about the trade. There are people that I work with or compete against that I think are absolute morons. Like I don't know how you guys make any money because everything you do is retarded.
Do you know what? It's crazy though. There's so many of them doing that. I feel like maybe they make more money than we do.
I don't know.
Just bang out stupid shit all day. Just do stupid shit all day, charge people, and run for the hills. It's appealing. Sounds good.
So there's a company that we can compete against in the residential market. I won't say his name because I'll probably get sued, but he's on his 4th company. Like, he's gone bankrupt 3 times.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do, man. That guy put some work into that shit.
Yeah, man. Like, he ain't messing around.
Nice.
And so my accountant, who's a dick, I show up to hand out my papers, and he's like, hey, I had company XYZ in here to look at giving me a tank list. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Anyway, so I give him a hard time. He's like, relax. Here's the quote. So to install one tankless Navian heater, guess what the quote was.
Guess what the quote was. Okay. Out there, I would say, I don't know, $3,500.
$18,000.
Pardon?
Yeah. $18,000 to pull out his hot water tank and install a Navian. And the hot water tank was a direct vent, and so it already had the piping in it. 18 grand.
Come on.
I'm like, who is he selling to? And he had, the guy that was there was he was basically a second-year plumber, sort of green behind the ears. He's like, oh no, this is a quality product. You'll never have any issues with it. We will have to make you sign the maintenance program so that we can make sure it runs top notch, which was another $700 a year.
Come on. Okay, and you know what's funny right now? No, you know what's funny right now? You know what's insane? You and I are looking back at each other right now going, wow, these idiots. Wow, what a bunch of jerk-offs. And they're sitting there counting their money going, look at those 2 fucking bearded monkeys.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh, bro, that's a lot of money.
But that's the thing is, I guess if you're just into it for the money, and that's all that matters to you,
well...
Which is, on some level, it does. You just said it, though.
No, it's
like
it's
money doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't provide any. It doesn't provide any motivation to your employees.
No
Why does it?
affirmation. Yeah.
Why does it? It doesn't provide any motivation for me. Like, I need money.
You do. As a business owner, it's a lot easier to run a good business with a healthy budget.
Right. Absolutely.
$18,000 tankless water heaters is a pretty healthy. Listen, did you say that? Is he still in the market for a water heater? Because I'll do it for 17, buddy. I'll fly.
I did laugh. I'm like, dude.
You're like, you dummy.
I'll give you $2,000 off, and I'll do it for you, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did not, because I know him really well. I didn't have the poker face at all. I was like, holy hell, that's insane. If I was smart, I'd have been like, oh, dude, he's gouging you by like $700, man. I'll do it for 17.2.
But then you got to sign my maintenance plan. That's $1,400.
Right.
That's a lot.
So, yeah. I mean, there are like, those type of guys want to work for everybody in town once. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they have no repeat business.
No.
Because soon as that gets out, like, you're right, he's at home counting his $18,000. But soon as Gary tells Steve, the neighbor, that he got his for $18,000, and he's like, the hell? I just got mine done for $4,000.
Yeah.
And then it all hits the fan, right?
It's crazy, man. I guess that's the opposite side of the spectrum that I'm usually up against. Usually I'm telling guys, stop cutting yourself short. Like, bring our prices up as an industry. If we could increase our prices, we would be great industry to be in, but we kill each other. And I don't know if it's the same out there. Like, it's like a race to the bottom. Everyone wants to do it cheaper. And hard time conveying value. This is rare for me. You guys get a lot of price gouging stuff out there?
I won't lie to you. COVID has kind of killed that. Because lots of guys didn't make it.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. No, personally, I know at least a dozen operators that didn't make it through COVID.
Really?
That are now unemployed. Either a couple of them are working for Reliance.
Obviously. Hey, you know what? Maybe Reliance created COVID to put these businesses out of business.
Well, there's a conspiracy theory I can get behind.
Let me make this clear. Reliance, that was a joke. I was kidding. I don't want to get a cease and desist letter this week. Thank you, though.
Do you bump heads with those guys at all?
I bump heads with everybody, but I think with them, with any big corporate business like that that's not doing incredibly high quality work, when I'm house after house after house and I see that you put a rental water heater and didn't put mixing valves, even though that's our code requirements here, but I mean, you're charging the rental fee. If you're going into house after house and you're just seeing this low standard of workmanship and they're making tons of money, there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
There's no reason. So it's not condensed to them. I think there's lots of companies like that. I think that they're more focused on convenience than quality. That's their place in the market. You call them, they're there, and they'll get your install done the next day. Yeah. I think somebody just asked where your goats are, man, and I got to say I'm equally curious. Let's see this thing.
Let's see. Shall we go see them? So find them.
We want to see them, man. Go chase a goat. I feel like that's an insult. No internet in the goat field.
Did I lose you?
A little bit. It's all right.
Let me.
Very majestic angle there. The sun beaming down on you. Like, holy God, godly.
That's right, baby. You know what? Yeah. My chickens are out.
Hey, chase a chicken.
See? There's a chicken.
Buddy, you live the life. Look at that.
There's the goats. There's one of the
Wow, man,
goats.
look at that property. Crazy.
There's my babies right there.
I seen a video of a goat standing upright, walking around on your feed. Was that your goat?
No.
Okay.
That was off the internet. It scared the hell out of me. I'm like, that dude, who's the world's biggest pussy. He looks mean, but he's a serious chicken.
I got to ask him, what a goat, like, what do you have a goat for? What did they do? I don't know, man. I'm not a farmer.
Honestly, we got him because my kids needed a job. And so every morning they came down and fed the goats and collect all the chicken eggs.
So the goats are like pets.
Yeah. Well, I have a freezer. I have a freezer full of goat meat. Have you ever had goat meat?
Oh, no. So you eat those things?
So I have a freezer full of goat meat, but nobody will eat them because the meat's so bad, and I don't know how to cook it.
Oh, no, you know what? I have had goat roti.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so apparently you've got to like just soak it in curry.
that's well. Everybody's like, dude, I got a perfect goat recipe. Take like a liter of vodka and soak it for a week, and then add a bunch of curry to it, and it's delicious. I'm like, listen, man, I'm not trying to get drunk off my goat.
I have the best recipe for goat. You do is you take the goat, you mix it up, and then you replace it with some beef.
Right.
Tastes perfect. Tastes perfect. Anyway, that's cool, man. You got the barn?
I finally made it to the barn. Should we like officially do this in the barn?
There we go, man. Wow, it's actually a barn. That's wild.
Yeah, man. Oh, I should give you the barn.
Wow.
Yeah, man. No false advertising here, man.
Dude, that is a badass man cave.
I know.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow,
I love it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Look at your man cave, and then look at me. I'm like, I'll put my backpack up here, and that'll be like my little bit of branding for the industry. Look at this. This is embarrassing. What's all that?
That's the cardio center.
Holy cow, man.
Yeah.
They're working on your fitness. Take home, my boys.
Yep.
Wow. Just keeps going, eh?
Yeah. No, we had a lot. That's what we did over COVID. When
you do trade shows in there.
I could.
Frick, man, it's massive. Nice.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me get you freaking legit here.
I'm jealous. Yeah, I'm jealous. Look at that.
Oh.
I thought you were going to get some weights. Show us how you work out.
That's like an OnlyFans a request. The ladies pay extra for that. So.
Ooh, so wait, so the guys get a discount?
No.
You said it, man.
No, I said no. I said the ladies pay. The ladies pay for that privilege. There's no dudes going on. Crazy?
Nah. Not you. That's not the dude cafe there. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're how far from your average job? How far out do you drive? Because it's fields there, man.
Yeah, so it takes me. I'm 10K from town, from Calgary, just southwest. So it's a 30-minute commute anywhere we want to go. It's just,
Really?
just sort of, yeah. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going, well, we do some stuff a couple hours away, blah, 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 but everybody pays for that privilege, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. They should. We do Toronto a little more than I'd like, but and looks like we're going to be doing a lot more in the future here. But we get in our vehicles and start heading to Toronto, and some mornings it's 45 minutes, and then some mornings it's 2 hours, 15 minutes before you're at your job. You're like, nice. And then you're 2 hours home, and there you go, 4.5 hours of your day just sitting there looking at friggin' brake lights in front of you. I drive you nuts. I don't know how people do it.
I don't know how, like you said, that's the big city thing, right? Like, if we have rush hour here, I'm 45 minutes at most. You know what I mean? Which pisses me off, because that's way longer than it should be. I can't imagine spending 2.5 hours.
45 minutes. Oh, man. You're going to have to section out a little corner of that barn there. I'm going to come work out there, man. I'm done. Ontario's a pain. It's funny. HPAC there just asked, do you factor in gas prices into your charge out calls? And I'm just like, gas prices are so, not that we can sit here and talk about gas prices, but if they're so crazy right now, I don't even know how to factor them into the future of our business. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm like, look at these jobs that we just quoted that are an hour away, and now our fuel costs have doubled. Like, just it's insane. And how are we going to charge for this? And there's going to be so many guys in the industry that don't adjust their pricing, and they're going to get a ton of work out of it. And we might have to sit on the sidelines for a little while. You take a job and then put $3,000 worth of fuel costs on it, $4,000 just in fuel costs on it. You price yourself out real quick.
No, it's going to be an interesting time. Like, so it's super. Like, everybody's, because of the way things are, everybody's freaking out about pricing, right? You see a new line item on your bill, you're getting a phone call from that client, right?
Yeah.
And so, without letting out too many secrets, I guess, one of the things that we learned from the restaurant side of things is they're like, we won't raise our prices, but we're going to alter our portions. You know what I mean? So you're like, if you go to the bar, instead of getting a pound of wings, you're not getting 12 wings anymore. You're getting 9, but the price is the same.
Interesting.
Right? And so, we've added some like shop supplies into our billing to say, oh yeah, we're whatever that is, like a $35 shop supply charge onto a job which is basically our fuel charge.
Yeah, great. Interesting approach. Or you could literally just do the same thing as the wings and just be like, you know what, I'm going to charge you the same amount of money, but instead of driving all the way there, I'll just come 3/4 of the way.
We should try that tomorrow and see how that works out.
See, let me know, man.
I'm here. I've driven as far as I can go, man. We did have we had a vac truck out to do a job the other day, and it was a paragraph. We apologize for adding fuel costs to this, but it's because of what's going on. And here's an extra $42.
Okay, let me ask you, how much was your vac truck? How long did you have them for?
Well, so which it does bug me a bit, because there's 3-hour minimum, right?
Okay.
And he was on site for 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's an hour and a half to the job, and then of course they have to go do their disposal, right? So it's an hour and a half after. So they're like, it's a 3-hour minimum. If we're there for 15 minutes or 3 hours, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah. So we had a vac truck last week, and I thought, 2 hours, man. We were going freaking 8 feet. like long, 4 feet down. I gotta cut some concrete and get it out of the way for them. I'm like, they'll be here for 2 hours, 3 hour minimum. I'm like, have them there at 10. And so they show up at 9. I'm just sitting there. You know, the fuckers. They're just sitting in the truck. I'm like, you guys aren't supposed to be here yet. They're like, no, it's okay. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
the bean counters like.
We'll see when I get the bill if it's okay. Anyway, we're like 90% of the way there at like 1 o'clock, 1:30. I'm like, this is taking a long time. And they're like, we're full. Gotta go and empty this thing. And I'm like, so where do you guys go? And I named this place that's super close. And he goes, nah, boss won't let us do that. Too expensive. We gotta drive out to, I was like, what? So it was like an hour drive versus like this, like 8 minutes up the road because it's too expensive for them to dispose of it. And I'm like, wait, but I'm in my head, I'm thinking, but does that mean that I'm paying you to drive it out there because it's too expensive for you to get rid of it?
Yes, you are.
And so, yeah, it was. So 2 disposal fees, $350 each. There's $700 for disposals. And like 8 hours of them just like, playing around, and then the kid at the end of it is like, yeah, thanks man, thanks for not being too hard on me. And I was like, what do you mean, buddy? And he goes, no, just because it's my first week and stuff. And he was like the operator, right? I thought maybe they're just really having a hard time, but it was kid's first week. And I'm like, wow, this bill came in and I was like $3,000. And I'm like, $3,000, dig a little hole. Yeah, pricey.
And is that something you just pass the savings along?
Yeah, with a little markup.
Yeah.
You
have to, right?
You have to, man. That's business. That's how the world works, right? Sometimes.
I'm surprised. So did you tell your HVAC, like, do you have a relationship with them or no? Is it just somebody you called out of the phone book and say, show up and give them a thing?
The vac truck?
No, the vac truck. Sorry, the vac truck.
Yeah, we have a relationship with them. But that's how they work, man. I'm just wondering, has things really changed with, gas prices and stuff? Are they like the wood industry right now where it's like, ooh, let's really take advantage of this? Again, I'm not an expert on wood supply, and I don't know what stuff costs out there, man, but I was looking at a pressure treated 2x6 the other day and I was like, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
$65.
It was insane, man. I bought sheets of plywood last week. They were, and not good plywood, like garbage, and $100 a sheet, man.
Yeah,
$100.
It's not because like there isn't a supply shortage. They just can't get it to you. You know what I mean? Like the lumber yard, we have a lumber yard, 20K that way, and it's packed full of stuff.
So hold on. So okay, they can't get it to us. So then who is it that's taking the big chunk? That plywood was $33 like 2 years ago. $33. Now it's $100, $98. Who's taking that big chunk of money in between it coming from there to here and stuffing it in their pocket and going, yeah, that's because they can't get enough of it out here. I don't get it.
Well, that's what Royal's doing. Like, you can't tell me that we could get political, I guess. Ukraine, which is a tiny little country in the middle of a vast continent, is causing all these problems. Like, go get bent. Like, there's not if we fall for that, we're the dumbest people on the planet, in the galaxy.
Yeah, because we're looking at record profits from friggin' Shell and stuff. Like, come on. No.
What did they make last quarter? Like, literally, I should fact check this, but I won't. Like $18 billion last quarter made.
Lovely.
Right?
Lovely. And here we are as contractors, the little minions in the field after all of these trickle effects of the people screwing us for gas and screwing us for wood and screwing us for screws. Screws, man.
Screws, yeah.
We're really getting screwed. And it's like we're eating shit on all these materials, and then the delays, like the actual delays where we can't get the product, so then we lose revenue because we can't get the job or can't finish the job and we're we're getting hit with 2 and 3 and 4 times the supply costs. And what are we doing? We're going to put the job up 20%. Like we're eating crap, man. And it's funny. It's not funny. You're talking about all of these guys that didn't make it through COVID, which at first I thought you meant didn't make it through COVID. I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of guys in the HVAC industry and plumbing.
No.
Yeah.
No, they made it. They just didn't make it.
I caught on. I'm slow. But yeah, man, it's no surprise. And I wonder what the landscape's going to look like in all of these small businesses over the next year.
It's interesting because we've actually gained clientele over COVID.
You guys
have more clients now than we did prior.
Really?
Because people are either lost their provider or are looking to make a change.
Really?
Yeah. So we at the end of the day, I'll just say it. We're better off because of COVID, which is a ridiculous thing to say.
Interesting.
Knowing how much damage COVID created for lots of people and lots of people that I know.
But it's been good for you guys.
It has been. Business-wise, yeah.
No, you're not alone, man. There's lots of businesses that were positively affected by it. Lots of trade businesses that boomed in Toronto. I mean, there's so much building going on. I don't know, like, is there a lot of building going on where you guys are?
So we're having a bit of I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know where it's coming from, but we're literally in the midst. We'll be doing 8 new restaurants this year. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, we're happy to, let's go. Right?
Nice.
And, we've sent out all our prices for it and everybody's like, looks good, let's go. I'm like, okay. Hopefully I didn't leave too much on the table, but.
Yeah, they have insight to what's going to happen to supply chains.
Yeah.
I mean, lock your price, and that's why we put one of the terms and conditions in all of our contracts now that the customer has to initial is that any effects that COVID or supply chain issues have on our ability to do the job will be passed on to them. And I'm shocked that people pay. I'm shocked that people sign it because it's so vague. It's so
open-ended. You could make it anything, right?
100%, man. I was like, if this furnace doubles in price, you're paying it, not me. I'm just not. I'm not doing it. I got stuck on some stuff hard last year. We were doing net zero builds, and I got dinged on some supply stuff that I was like, that's 3 friggin' times the price it was that you quoted me 2 months ago. Just wild. Yeah. Now our suppliers here, they won't even hold pricing for more than like friggin' 15 days. They're like, nope.
Same as ours.
Yeah, wild. Are they giving you rations for supplies too?
What's that?
Are they rationing your supplies? Like, they were 5 sticks of ABS?
They don't, not anymore. They were. Like, yeah. It was even less than that. They're like, you can have one of each size. I'm like, oh my fuck. What do you mean one of each size?
What are you gonna
like,
do
okay,
with that?
what about tomorrow?
Right.
Well, you'll have to go to they're like, you'll have to go to another location because I can't knowingly sell you the next day. And I'm like, so for like, we were doing a restaurant then. So I went to there's, you guys have Wolseley's down there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, so there's whatever there are here, 6 of them. So I went to 6 different Wolseley's, 2 or 3 days and got the pipe I needed. And what does that cost? Like, I go through a tank of gas, so it cost me $300 in gas to pick up my stupid materials. Yeah,
your time, all sourcing it, like the pricing structure that we used to use, it's out the window, man. Like, it's a completely different landscape now, and one that I haven't solved either. I mean, I haven't solved it. I'll be honest. I'm still like, it's changing so much. I'm like, what do I do here? I've got an idea though, and you gave it to me. It's a really great idea. And tankless water heaters for $18,000. It solves everything.
It solves it all. I'm not sure how long that'll last, but yeah.
Just
I don't know how much
need
business you're gonna get. You'll get one in each neighborhood, and then you'll be blackballed. Like
One,
no
man.
one will ever get. That's the dude that charged me $20,000 because it won't be 18. You know how the story all
go to 25.
exaggerates. It'll be 25,000 K by the time you're by the time the next neighborhood hears about it.
New plan then. We'll just make it 25,000. I'll hit every neighborhood, and then I'll shave.
There's a lot of neighborhoods in Toronto. Like you should be able to.
We're good, man.
Freaking make some workouts. For the first time since we've been on here, I'm actually looking at the comments.
No.
And HPAC magazine wants to know if we've gained clients from Instagram.
Yeah, I want to know that too.
The answer is yes. Is it equal to the amount of time I put into it? No.
No.
Not at all.
What's your goal with the social media thing?
You know what? For me, because I worked for my dad and then worked by myself and was always sort of the boss. You know what I mean? Like, so, as the boss, and I'm not, sad about it, but you're not buddies with very many of your employees, right? There's got to be a separator there, right?
Ooh.
Where what's for me. Anyway,
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
You're a hard guy to work for, I can tell.
I am a hard guy to work for. No, I guess if I was going to be cold-hearted about it, I would say, yeah, you can come to me with anything you want, and I'm a listening ear, but we're not going for beers. Like I'll go.
It's work time,
right? Like it's straight up work, and I'm the boss, and this is what I need done, and whatever.
Go and do
so it sounds like I'm whining, but it's a bit of a lonely life. You know what I mean? Like you're not really buddies with your competitors. You know how the trade is. You walk into the wholesale and everybody's like, hey man. Like there isn't any sort of buddy shit going on there. As far as
wild.
In my life anyway. And so I've really, frankly, enjoyed it because it's given me the outlet to talk to people like you and talk to George the plumber and have dinner with George the plumber and guys from all over the world and talk about the trade where on lots of levels some of the guard is taken down, you know what I mean, where I don't feel like I'm revealing secrets that'll come back to bite me in the ass. I'll say this. I've been screwed. Like I haven't gone to any, cult meetings and whatever the hell you went to in Las Vegas. But and it's part of business. But I've been screwed so many times by people that I've invested some trust into, you know what I mean? You're like, all right, I trust you. This is what we're going to do. This is the plan. And it blows up in my face. Like they use that as information to make my life more difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hardened. That's a very raw and answer. And I'll tell you, it's not the answer I thought it would be. I think your personality type on social media paints, I would say, to me anyway, somebody that's more parallel with my personality type. You say you go into a supplier. I go into a supplier, I'm probably that guy you don't like. I'm like, hey, what's up? How you guys doing? Who do you work for? What are you guys doing today? Nice. Can I see in the back of your truck? I want to buddy up. I do want to buddy up with my competitors. And I think the reason is because from an early age, I stopped looking at blue collar tradespeople as my competitors and started looking more at finance businesses and, people that aren't in this industry, people that are not the hard working people doing the work. I say, you know what? These guys, they're not my competition, man. These guys they need to be shoulder to shoulder with these guys because we're going to need them. Yeah. So I think my view on that's a little bit different. I think my view on social media and what I expect to get out of it is different than it was a few years ago. A few years ago when I had my heating company in Toronto, I 1,000% did it for affirmation. It was a chest banging thing. It was like, oh, I'm going to put this like sexy install this boiler that I just did. Now everybody tell me how good it looks, And I think a lot of guys do that. Right? That's why social media for trades it's great, man. You get to go in there, and whether it's posting your work for somebody else to comment on and give you praise or critique, or like a lot of the guys that are getting there ripping other people's installs apart looking for that affirmation of, haha, I know and you don't. I got bored of that. I was like, on social media shit, I'm gonna sit at home with my kids, and my priorities were realigned for a while. And then it was funny, I was reading this article in Viega magazine. I didn't even know they had a magazine. Maybe they don't. It was just like some digital thing. and I'm reading it. Literally just bored. I'm not even a big reader. And I see this article, and it's got a picture of Mike Flynn. Flintstone. I follow this guy. What's up, dude? And I'm reading this article, and it says, oh, you're a really influential person on Instagram to so many people with a following of, and it was crazy. I was like, holy shit, he's got that many followers now? I remember when this guy had like nothing. But like, who do you find influential? And no joke, like the first name in the thing, and this is like a 9-month-old article that nobody ever referenced or showed me or something. I see my name in it, and it was like, whoa. And he's a great technician. He's a good installer, great guy, and it just made the gears start turning, and I couldn't unread it. And I was like, wow, I made an impact on that guy. Cool. And then I started posting a couple more things. And then guys started reaching out a lot, like, oh, hey, where were you? Where'd you go? And it was that thing in Miami that really opened up my eyes. We're sitting in the cigar bar. Man, I wish you had made it to that.
I wish I had too. Absolutely.
It was cool, man. But the guys that we were sitting with in this cigar bar, I looked at them and I said, you guys put a lot of effort. You do, man. You put a ton of effort into social media. And it's not, I think people see it and they don't realize how much effort actually goes into it. Whether you're natural at it like you or not, I mean, you put a lot of your time, you invest in it. And I'm like, so have any of you been able to substantially monetize your efforts in social media and sharing information with people and, sharing your tips and your installs and helping manufacturers move their product, which is a big friggin' one that guys do. And nobody been able to really monetize it. And so my question was, why then? What's the long game? What's it for? And so.
Well, and like you say, it's interesting that you see what you see from when you watch my stuff from that side of the lens, right? Because even people that have known me for a long time have said, dude, you're a totally different person on that stupid app. Like,
nice.
I won't disagree with you because in the real world, I'm absolutely far more guarded, is the word secretive?
Miserable.
Or just sort of very close to the vest, I guess, of what.
Yeah.
Like anybody that asks me how are things, they're great, super good, busy, crazy busy, and that's. I mean, if I saw you in the wholesaler and you asked me, "Hey, man, how are things? You're good, right? You're busy."
Oh, that's just cool.
Crazy busy. You know what I mean? And I guess if I had you're doing an analysis on me right now. And I would say it's just because it's like again, and I'm not whining about it, but there's been some ridiculously bad experiences in my life where I'm just like, how have I been taken so advantage of by, being open and upfront about whatever's going on in my life? And it just, I'm like, okay, well, that's it. I'm done being.
I'm not social on anything but an app anymore, and I'm building a barn.
Not wrong. There's a little bit of truth to that, honestly. Like there's a couple guys in Calgary that I run across, and you're cordial and nice and whatever, but it's a bit of a mentality that I instantly fall into, where I'm like, listen, I'm not going to share too much stuff because I got shit to do. I don't know. So for me, that's a big, long way to say, to answer the question, I very much enjoy the social part of social media. That's why I'm on here. It's not to show off my work or to, or whatever. It's because I enjoy the engagement, which is why you asked me why I'm doing this stupid barn banter. And I'm like, you know what? I should talk to some people and see what they have to say and learn something and expose myself a little bit, I guess, and see where it goes.
Very cool,
so
man.
far it's been good.
Yeah. No, it's unique, man. No, I don't think I've talked to anybody else on social media that has that raw, real answer where it genuinely is to be social, which is crazy. I mean, everybody seems to have ulterior motives on these social media platforms. They're marketing guys getting in there in companies, and guys just looking for affirmation and stuff. But you genuinely come across as somebody that is being social. It's probably because you're hanging out with your goats too much.
It's got something to do with the lifestyle. There's no doubt about that.
Teach the goats how to talk, man. You'll be good.
But I will say, like, I'm not trying to monetize it. We've obviously benefited from it, from just in local. When I had whatever it was, 10,000 followers on that old account, like, people were coming out of the woodwork. Hey, man, will you rep this? Will you say something about that? Will you? I'm like,
Sure.
I'm going to be honest, though. So if it sucks, make sure you don't give me anything that sucks.
Good.
Because I'm gonna huck it in the garbage if I have to.
Good. And that's why guys will listen to you. You don't become a product whore just friggin', hey, yeah, for $500 I'll give you a mention and hold it up like a used car salesman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the tough. You see, and just like you, I'm part of some private groups, and we talk about this stuff. And there's some guys there's some private groups out there. If you don't know that,
no, those aren't the groups I'm in. You watch that.
We're obviously in different groups because we're not in the same groups. But,
I don't know. I just got a request. Hold on.
You have so some of those guys, like you said, like Glenn and of that ilk, that have 35 to 100,000 followers. Like, some of their problem is some of the challenges is when a manufacturer comes to you and says, we want you to rep it, and here's some green to go with it, then you're, on some levels, to bring it full circle, you're now a fluffer.
You're 1,000%, bro. 1,000% you are. 1,000%.
Like, you're on the payroll now, and so you gotta pull the line.
Yeah, you had to appease them. You're the fluffer. You're not in control of the messaging. It's like, here's the money. Get in there, get them ready for us, and then we'll close on this for you. And I agree with you, man. I think a lot of guys in the trades that are on social media and have been working really hard to kind of build a following, aimlessly though, because then you ask them what it's for, it's like, I don't know.
Free
Whatever.
stuff, maybe.
Yeah. Some guys are very stuff driven, and it's amazing. As soon as their accounts hit that 5, 10, and 15,000, you see guys. All of a sudden, every post is, oh, look at these boots. Oh, look at this new tool that I have. Look at me drill something. Like, off, go away.
I know, it's right. And I mean, I get it, and I understand what's happening, and so do you.
Yeah.
And so I can scroll past that stuff and say, oh, that's too bad. Hopefully you get some real stuff
But
in
see,
the future.
but that's what happens. That's what we do. We scroll past it because we can see through it. Nobody wants to be sold, man. We see through it. I feel like there's more effective partnerships that manufacturers could have with guys like you. Here, look, you don't need to be bought. That's a lot of space on your wall back there. But
Yeah.
buy some space and not have you go, hey, try this for the low price of, fuck off.
It was interesting because when, like, this whole thing, the biggest player that we've ever had in here was obviously Rigid, right? And so I was a little worried. I'm like, okay, and Becky's fantastic. And so we have a sort of a back and forth. I'm like, what is there something I can say? There's something I can't say. Where's the line? And she was like, well, here's the questions that you should ask us. And this is they were the only ones that sort of said, here's the deal.
Really?
Which I get, because they're rigid, right? Like, what are you gonna?
Yeah.
You gotta play by the rules a little bit, but they were awesome, as you may have saw. They did a great job, and did their little dog and pony show of going through the tool house and showing off some of their tools. But I did say, and listen, I'm not looking for anything out of this. Don't send me any tools. Don't send me anything, because I don't want it to be some sort of, you say this and we'll send you that type of crap.
Interesting.
Because then I become the.
It's offering.
Yeah.
Just say,
I'm like, okay, well. No. I'd be really bad at it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You get a lot of goats.
There's a lot of goats. Yeah. So it's the challenge of, like, we had just started getting into that territory where we had weirdos sending me messages about, hey man, will you rep this? Will you rep that? When we got nuked on the other account. And so I was like, no, man, this is not what this is for. It's not your platform to sell some stuff. It's for me to vent. And,
love it, man. And love that you didn't give in to it. Is it? Give into it? Yeah. I think I can't hate on the guys that are taking the money for, here, buy these shoes, try these boots out, like these pants. Like, I can't hate on them. I mean, good on them. There's some blue collar trades people that have found another way to generate some income that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to. So, I mean, good on them. But when it's guys like you that do something like this, the barn banter and stuff, good for you for having that, that integrity to be like, nah, you guys aren't gonna buy me here. Good for you, man. Good for you. But when next time they try, just let them know that I'm for sale.
You're for sale?
Take-O. I'm just kidding. No.
I got the Take-O one right up there, man.
There you go. Brought to you by your partners at Take-O. No.
Right? But that's like, there's a comedy sketch of a hockey commentator that literally was like, he as he's doing the commentary for the hockey game, he's literally like throwing in ads. Oh, through the Bible. The next time you need a hole fix, phone up ABC fucking roofing, right? You're like,
awesome.
And like you say, most people see through that stuff, which is why I think on some level, I mean, the app is really sort of come into itself in the last 4 or 5 years. And I think those marketing people are going to find out how to best use this, as opposed to having a bunch of fluffers out there saying, look at my Take-O shirt.
Yeah.
Buy Take-O.
Easy.
Right? They're going to be, all right, how do we boil this down so that it's actually effective marketing for our product, and it's not just another freaking, I don't know, second-year plumber with drilling holes in his driveway.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever the hell it is. So I do think, having talked to some of those bigger companies, I think it's going to change a bit, where they're not just going to be throwing out crap all over the place. They're going to start narrowing their focus as they learn how, like you said, what is the marketing budget for Rigid or Milwaukee or Payco or Central Therm, right? All that stuff. They're looking at that and saying, how do we best spend our money, and how do we best sell our product so it doesn't look like it's coerced or bought.
I gotta love this guy's comment here. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to them, but aren't we all whores to free T-shirt in this trade? Yep. We sure are, man. Oh, a shirt.
A shirt.
Yeah, free shirt. Yeah, please. I'm like, can I have another shirt? I seen you were giving shirts out yesterday. Come on. Yeah, my whole wardrobe is just manufacturer clothes and distributor clothes, and yeah.
But that's how that works. But again, at the same time, you're not out there hawking it like it's
Who, me? No.
Yeah, you. Like you're yeah, but when you're on the job, you're not like, okay, here's the Taco E003. Oh, there it is right there, right?
I gotta tell you though, those guys, and I see you got the banner there, so we can chat about it. It's up over your shoulder. It looks like we're doing like a simultaneous plug here, nonchalant, right?
Yeah. Right there, David.
I love those guys, man. I love those guys because they're not like the traditional manufacturer, like salesy. Oh, you asked me a half technical question. I'll get back to you tomorrow after I've had a chance to run it through the technical. They're sharp. They know their shit, and they're just like cool, down to earth dudes, man. I really like Taco, man. They're freaking solid guys.
They did. It's been interesting to see lots of those manufacturers, what they did over COVID. Taco did their Taco After Dark.
Yeah.
I made the boys, and I tuned into a couple of them, but the boys listened to them for about a year on all of their stuff to figure out, to learn how all this stuff works. So they're actually providing, the value of, here, this is how you use our product properly. This is how you troubleshoot our product. This is where our product has some issues that you should be aware of, and how to bypass those issues, which are usually installer issues, as you know.
Yeah.
The stuff that's out there now is so engineered so well that most of the issues that you come across are installer issues. Frankly.
Yeah, I do some stupid shit sometimes. I make some mistakes. Yeah, I do it. I do. I screw some shit up sometimes.
We all do.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite line is "I'm a moron" because I'm a moron. How did I do that? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a moron. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I made that mistake.
Bro.
Oh,
yeah. That's me. I would call my business partner all the time, and I'm like, I'm so stupid. You don't even believe what I just did. What'd you do now? I'm that guy. That's good, man. We can share in our moron stories and beard banter.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly right.
Listen, man, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure chatting with you. I hope we get to do this again, man. And you're right. If you're not a social guy in real life, man, it would blow my mind because you are incredibly social here.
It's very isolated to the work world. That's how it works. If we were in Miami, we would have a hell of a time. I can promise you that.
See, there we go. You do any events? Like, do you go to events at all?
I went to WET before COVID.
Nice.
And then was planning on going to AHR this year, but couldn't get out of the country.
Neither could I.
Yeah. But I will be. What's that?
I said I had the awards thing with HVAC Tactical. They gave me an award for picture perfect install and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm there, da, da, da. And then we got friggin' false COVID tests, false positive. Yeah, it sucks. That sucks. Is what it is, man. No, the reason I ask is I wonder if you have any plans to do any upcoming events.
I think they're done for the year. I mean, I won't lie to you. I'm not much into it. There was you guys did your
CMPX,
yeah, in Toronto there a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever it was. Aren't they done until next year?
Well, I mean, we can make events whenever we want.
All right, is everybody coming out here?
Noble's got their customer appreciation event. Come on out. It's
right.
like 6 tents and a barbecue. That's worth the flight.
Nothing like a stale hot dog and a free T-shirt to make me stand in line for an hour. No. I haven't done much of those. Yeah. But we should. I agree. I think the community is fantastic. I think, the best, I'll say it again, and then we can wrap up. The best thing about the social media is the social part of it. And the fact that you and I can talk for, I don't even know what the hell it is, an hour and a half.
20 minutes or so.
Yeah. About the trade and have a cordial, meaningful, informative conversation about your world, my world, which are similar in so many ways.
Minus the ghost.
You'll get there.
I'm trying. Working on it. I have a bald cat. You
have a what? A bald cat?
I have one of those.
You have one of those hairless cats?
Creepy as fuck. Creepy. My wife.
I could not live in a house with one of those things.
Bro,
is it your wife's thing?
Yeah, and I hate it. I hate the thing. I hate it. I tell her I hate it, but my son loves it. I'm like, what makes it so much worse? The stupid thing started to get sick like a year ago, and I was like, yeah. And it, but then I felt bad. My son's like, oh, it's my cuddle buddy, and I was like, why? We don't need it. It's just not necessary for our survival. It's a friggin' dick anyway. So I took the cat to the vet. I didn't say it was a dick to my family. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the progressive things, right? And I'll just skip all the progressive crap, $2,000. And I'm like, cool. Do you know why? It ate a piece of dental floss. And it got caught around its tongue and then into its intestines or whatever. And they couldn't find it when they opened its mouth. And so they had to cut it open and do surgery and remove this and remove that for a piece of string. That stupid cat that I hate, it hisses at me all the time. Just cost me $2,000 because it ate a piece of string. And I'm like more mad at myself than I am the cat that I paid $2,000 to save something I dislike so much. I hate it. Trade you for a goat.
Woo!
Or a chicken.
Listen, that's hilarious. And we've had that discussion in my house. I hate cats. I hate them. The passion. And we have gone through, I probably shouldn't say this, probably 65 cats out here in the farm, because they either get caught in the engine, or the coyotes eat them, or one of my German shepherds eats them. But there's one that's lasted a couple of years now, and every time he literally sleeps, he gets into the barn down below, and he's made a little nest. And every time I see him, I said, I hate you, and I hope you get eaten today.
I think I just had that pep talk with my wife's cat on the way up the stairs this morning. I hate you.
I hate you. I hope you die.
Just like wishing.
Please die.
Stupid cats. Anyway.
So good. Oh, well.
On that note, my man.
Thank you very much. It was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And and we'll get it up on YouTube and Spotify within the next 24 hours.
Waste as many people's time as we can.
So everybody can watch this ridiculous conversation as long as they want.
Hey guys, you watched right to the end thinking something fun and exciting was going to happen. You suckers.
No, it's like real life, man. It just sort of ends.
And on that note, peace out, brother.
Peace out. Have a
Take
good
care.
one. Thanks,
You
brother.
too, man. Later.
Bye.